we call the vacuum. It is the ground state, the lowest energy state of the universe.
Yeah, but you said that there is still radiation.
You remove the radiation. You turn it off. You cool this room down to close to absolute zero. You turn off all the fields. Classically, it would be totally empty. All the fields would be zero. Be turned off. Be no particles. There would be nothing but space and time.
So you say there's going to be a lower limit of the energy associated with the radiation.
I think it is true in the quantum vacuum, the fluctuating fields and particles in the vacuum do carry energy. And indeed, it is probably that vacuum energy that is the source of the acceleration of the universe, so-called cosmological constant, which is the energy and pressure of the vacuum.
Okay.
But that vacuum, this empty state with no particles in it, has, in quantum mechanics, dynamics, because everything in quantum mechanics has dynamics. Nothing can be at rest and non-dynamic.
And I remember the picture that you saw, the simulation,
Yes.
in the scale of the proton. What is the black area?
So in order to do that, you can't simulate the whole universe. You just consider a box in that universe. Sometimes you consider a torus, periodic boundary, a box. You should really talk about that would require an even bigger computer, bigger box, more computing. So I just, in that picture, that black area, you just had a box. The box was about the size of 10 protons. And then you looked in the middle of the box where it didn't depend too much on whether there was a box or not. But really, that vacuum extends throughout the whole universe. Vacuum is everywhere. And you should think of this as the vacuum is the medium into which particles are put or exist.
Okay. Let me ask another question.
I'm afraid that we the time constraint, yes.
Okay.
You can ask Professor
during
the break.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you a political question? But when I heard that Obama recently received Nobel Prize, I feel that he didn't think it didn't change anything. I would like to know your opinion when you heard that Obama.
Well, I think I was as surprised as he was. You know, the Nobel Prize in Peace is given by the Norwegians. The science prizes and the literature prizes are given by the Swedes and by the Swedish Academy of Science in the case of physics, chemistry, biology. And they're chosen by scientists for scientific accomplishments, which, are much easier to measure. So we have a scientific method. So it's a very well-defined thing. The Peace Prize, Nobel said the Swedes, he didn't have the Swedes give the Peace Prize. You know why that is? Because he was Swedish, but he didn't trust the Swedes. The Swedes are now a very peace-loving nation, but at the time, they were a very aggressive military nation, which, for example, ruled over the Norwegians. It was only about the same time that they gave up Norway to the Norwegians. And so he didn't trust the Swedes. They were too aggressive. He gave it to the Norwegians. But who chooses the Peace Prize? Do you know? It's not the Norwegian Academy of Peace. It's the Norwegian Parliament. It's chosen by politicians. It's always been a political prize, as it should be, because peace is not a scientific issue. Science is totally peaceful, or not. Nature is what it is. But peace is a political issue. The prize is awarded by politicians, and it's given to politicians. And politics is a big part of the Peace Prize. So as you know, there are theories about why did Obama get the prize. I'm sure he didn't want it because it's caused him more trouble than and he didn't want it now, maybe later. But I think my conclusion after being as surprised as you was that the Norwegian politicians were making a political decision that they would like to urge Obama to be even more peaceful. Maybe it's good if it works. Yeah.
Probably that's the last question. So for the next, may I now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Associate Professor Sampan Singhala to say a few words of appreciation for Professor Gross' lecture.
President Gross, Mrs. Gross, Mr. Janice Heckline, the International Peace Foundation representative, Professor Pongsak, President of Chiang Mai University, academic colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Faculty of Science, Chiang Mai University, may I express our sincere appreciation to Professor Gross for his marvelous and very insightful lecture today. As the President of Chiang Mai University mentioned at the outset, the visit of the Nobel Laureate is as a very special event, and we are indebted not only to Professor Gross, but also to the International Peace Foundation and the Thai Airways International for making today's event possible. As most of you may have already known, Chiang Mai University was founded 45 years ago. So 2009 was our 5th anniversary. And the Faculty of Science has organized several celebratory activities throughout last year, but today's lecture is regarded as a very special one as it concludes how we've been doing to celebrate our 5th anniversary. Professor Gross and Mrs. Gross, even though this is just a short period of time, but we really hope that you will enjoy your first visit to Chiang Mai, and certainly we would be very happy to host your future visit again, and perhaps next time around would be for a longer stay. How about the next 5 years when Chiang Mai University will reach its half-century mark? Yes, but I mentioned again, Professor Gross, that it was a great pleasure, and it's a great privilege for us all to listen to you talk. He's the last series of Nobel Laureate Science lectures. And on behalf of us all here, I would again like to thank you for a fascinating insight into the very basic nature and the future of science and the role that science will play in the future of human development. And most important of all is human survival. Thank you indeed, Professor Ross. And last but not least, may I thank all the audience for your participation and your attention during the lecture. And I do hope that you will enjoy the talk and find this beneficial and meaningful for yourselves. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Samphan, the Dean of the Faculty of Science. Before we going out for the break and continue some of the question and discussion outside, and bring this afternoon proceeding to a close, it just remains for me to thank Professor Gross and once again for having graced this occasion with his lecture and his answer, and to wish him a happy stay for the remainder of his visit here before going to Cambodia. Also, thank you to the President, the Dean, our distinguished guests, and students, the audience for having supported this special event. This afternoon lecture will serve as an inspiration to us all, working in our various fields of science and technology to strive to achieve our highest ambitions for the benefit of our society as a whole. This now concludes today's proceeding. Thank you.